No, we got in late last night.
Why don't we just sit there?
It's very dry in the
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'll get you some water.
And then in Greek, if you go down, I have the messages in English all the way to 2011. And then I start with the Greek. In Greek, you know, they have it also in the Greek.
This is this yours?
No, the guys just left.
Greeks who are reading.
Yes.
1985. So what happened? I mean, I'll ask you this on the air also,
You
but
have received, and well, there was the beginning that he draws my attention towards God because I was not at all interested spiritual
you weren't a
matters to church or praying or anything. And
snowy Monday in St. Louis, midday conversation. Kids got the school day. Plenty of people are out enjoying the snow at this point. And tonight at 6 o'clock, you can stop by West County Center, Barnes & Noble Booksellers. And the award-winning author in studio with us, Vassula Ryden, is with us. The new book is out, and you have a chance to meet her and hear about the book. I got too many notes. Is the problem. I have overdone it with looking at my piles of paper. Heaven is real, but so is hell, an eyewitness account of what is to come. Vassula is here with us. Welcome to St. Louis and welcome to KTRS, Vassula.
Thank you.
Have
Thank you very much.
you been to St. Louis before?
I have. You know, my son studied in Webster University.
Oh,
So I
very
was here
cool.
before, yes.
All right, so the book signing tonight, I want to tell people at 6 o'clock, they'll meet with you, and are you going to be speaking or just signing, meeting? What's tonight's event?
Yes, I will be speaking 10 minutes to explain a little bit of the background and why I wrote this book and what does the book contain. 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, there will be 10 minutes questions and answers. So I'll be meeting the people and then I will be signing.
Okay, the title itself, Heaven is Real, but so is Hell. Can you explain the title? What does that mean?
Well, that means a lot because this is touching the supernatural world that surrounds us, but we can't see with our physical eyes, but it exists. And I have been given the grace from God to be in visions in these two places to see heaven and hell as well. And the reality of God, that it's not a myth. God is not a myth. God is around us. He's calling us. He wants to show His love, His infinite love, and His mercy to all of us, in spite that the world has become so wicked, and there's a lot of rejection to God, filling it up with material things. So I'm explaining the dangers of what's happening and what can happen to our soul, because we will not live forever on earth, but we will have an eternal life after. So where do we really want to go? And I've seen both places, and so I'm describing in detail these places. Also, the calling of God, which is an amazing, I would say, experience, supernatural experience, because I was not searching for God. I was a person like many who are perhaps in our world today, busy with our own family, our functions and work. And sometimes we don't even think of God, but I was worse. I was worse because I wasn't even going in Christmas or Easter, which are the big, feasts of our Christianity. So I would say I was worse than anybody. And yet, when the angel came, my angel came to prepare me. He came to prepare me to meet God. But I had to go really through purification fires. We're seeing my soul with God's eyes, and it was terrible, because in judgment, it was like a small mini judgment before the real judgment, and many people have passed this kind of judgment already. It's called the Day of the Lord. But that was a preparation so that I really realized who I am before God comes and speaks, and that changed my whole life. I'm explaining one thing which is so important in that book, is also my impression. The first time God stepped out from heaven to talk to me, God Himself, the Father, and the description of His voice, the description of Him, because I had a conversation with Him. But that is really so amazing, and after 27 years today, I would say it's like I'm living the first day when He spoke to me, because it's so imprinted in my mind.
This was 1985. You're living your life. You had a great life, comfortable lifestyle, playing tennis, enjoying life. Explain to folks who are listening right now. I think we've heard some stories where people have a near-death experience and they say, I saw God. This is different. This wasn't you drowning or in a car accident. the voice came to you, and then if you would also explain when you tell people this, or the first time you told somebody, were they doubting you, or they look at you like you're crazy?
Well, I think with the first time when I told people, I didn't go around telling people in the beginning, because that was also what God had asked me. Don't go around showing the messages that you're receiving from me, because there will be a time, and you have to be ready. And it was like the Lord approaching me, because Jesus came to speak to me as well. It was the Father and Jesus. Jesus came later on, after, to ask me if I wanted to serve him, and I was not ready, you know. But let me go back to your question. After 3 years where everything was in outside, in public, it became, you know, God works in very small ways, and people were ready to hear. Some who are skeptical, because there's a lot of controversy in what I have, and that I understand, because you have to be careful. I myself am a very skeptical person, but one has really to study the person, and also it goes through theologians that, you know, they have been studying this case, which they found authentic. So people, yes, there's those that think I'm crazy or I need psychological treatment, and others who, after having known me and read a little bit, understand, because the soul cannot be deceived when the shepherd calls.
So when somebody reads your book and finishes
Later on in your life, where you said you saw God and you started to be more religious. I mean, you're not trying to shove religion down somebody's throat,
No.
but just share your story so others might have a similar story.
We are all the same humans, you know, we are all the same. And I can tell you that people who read this book, especially this book also, they have absolutely came to reflect a little bit more of how they live their life and what is to come as well after life. And I never ever imposed anybody to read. The Lord had asked me, just transmit my word and don't try to convince them. Anybody who's open in the heart will hear, you know. And there are events that the Lord predicted. I mean, you know, look at our world today, what's happening. There's a monetary crisis, financial crisis. There are all these signs that are today called in the end of times that will happen. And there were already prophecies about the towers in New York, 10 years exactly before they happened to crumble down. 11 September 1991, the Lord spoke about the towers to me. And that was a big disaster. But also about the tsunami, the first one in Indonesia. He showed it to me in a vision first, but then also he described it in detail, the one of Indonesia, like the islands will move from their place, the earth will come out of its axis, to the point that I thought this is metaphoric. I didn't think it would be happening. And if the next question would be, why?
Yeah, why were you, do you wonder that? Why were you selected to be
All right.
told these things? And do you believe they're really happening? Do you feel, if you see the towers crumbling, do you have an obligation to say something, or is it not that specific?
It is.
Or is it manifest in your mind later that that's what it was, the
I'll,
message?
I'll answer your first question. I asked.
I think
the
I
Lord-
threw 3 in there. I believe.
I asked first the question, why? Why did you choose me? I have never had any catechism, basic catechism. And now you're coming to tell me, go and tell my people? And you know, basically it is like reliving the Bible, the scriptures. And he said, did you not know that wretchedness attracts me? Through your wretchedness I shall show my mercy to the world. Through your nothingness I shall show my power, my authority, and that I am. So die to yourself so that I can teach you and mold you into what I want you to be and serve me. But I had to say yes, because he doesn't impose himself either. So in the end, because you know, he taught me how to love him, and you know, that love brought me to serve him and accept the messages to come to me. The second question, what was it now?
Well, if you said 10 years before the towers, you would
Okay.
have an obligation to tell people, but it sounds like later you realized what he was
Exactly.
saying.
Because prophecy, the word of God is called prophecy, given to somebody to transmit. Now, sometimes the Lord speaks in metaphoric language, symbolic. And he never made me understand that this is going to actually happen. Prophecy is never understood until it happens, you know. And I didn't even know where it's going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be in the States.
Vassula Ryden is our guest tonight. She will be at the Barnes and Nobles at West County Center. That's at 6 o'clock. Talk for a little bit. Also, the books will be available, book signing. Heaven is real, but so is hell. The latest Catholic news, but also religious news, has all been about the new Pope.
Yes.
And you believe this does matter across the board to all people. Why is that?
Absolutely. I met him even before when he was cardinal in Argentina. And we spoke about, because also the mission that the Lord has given me speaks about unity of the churches, which is so difficult. And he insists, the Lord, that we have one date in Easter because it's separated like this year, five weeks between the Orthodox churches and the Catholic and Protestant. Anyway, I spoke about unity to the new Pope now, as he was cardinal before, and I said we must give our lives for unity because that's the Lord's command. He wants us really to work hard. And now, lo and behold, he is Pope. And he is very ecumenical, very open for the unity, and I do believe from him will come great things because he came in the right time where there was a lot of scandal in the Catholic Church and a lot of rumors of bad management, and he comes there like St. Francis when he was asked from Jesus, can you rebuild my church? And he took the name Francis, I think, because of that. Because he's going to renew that church all over again. And I won't be surprised, I'm telling you today, I don't know what date it is because I'm here now, but I believe that he will bring forth unity.
And you do a lot of charitable work, so your mission isn't to benefit from this. You want to share the message. You were a person of means, you had money, you didn't come up with this and say, everybody
No.
give me your money.
Not
Tell
at all.
people what you do now, what your
Yeah.
mission is.
When they say, well, how all these books that are going to be sold and the message book as well, True Life in God, it's called the title, True Life in God, where does this money go? All to the Bet Miriams. It goes to the houses of the poor that we have now 25 houses, and we try to augment even more. It's according to our pocket now that the books are going to be sold, but it goes, nothing of the books comes to me, nothing. From this book or the message book, nothing. No royalties for me.
Well, it's fascinating to meet you, and again, people can see you tonight at 6 o'clock at the Barnes and Nobles. That's at the West County Center. Vassula Ryden, welcome to St. Louis. Thanks for stopping by KTRS.
Thank you so much for having given me this opportunity.
And we come back and tell you what we learned today on the Big 550. All right, that was good, yeah.
Thank you.